Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and happy Tumblr Tuesday. Today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how I created this Halloween vinyl wrap with glitter stripes. This is another easy, fast Tumblr design that you can bang out in a jiffy. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. We are using the super cute patterned vinyl from AB Designs. I'm going to go ahead and cut all of the excess white trimming off of my tumbler, but decided before I went ahead and do that, I was going to go ahead and kind of just look at the pattern and see where exactly I wanted to make my cuts. So this way I had even amounts of the design going around my tumbler. Once I decided where I wanted to make my cuts, I went ahead and took out my tape measure and measured my cup. It was a little bit under 7.5 inches. I am using 1-inch painter's tape, which means that I need to leave 3 inches on the bottom half of my tumbler for my 3 different colors of glitter that we're going to be applying. So I go ahead and mark 5 inches on my vinyl and I go ahead and cut it. And then we're going to go ahead and have 3 1-inch sections on the bottom of my tumbler. Once your vinyl is trimmed, you're going to go ahead and remove a small section of that backer piece and align this up as perfectly straight as you possibly can on your tumbler. Make sure you work out all of the creases and all of the air bubbles that you may get while you're trying to lay this vinyl down. Take your time, go slow, and just let it kind of go on the cup on its own. And this is where I realized that I made my first mistake, forgetting that this tumbler is actually a skinny tapered tumbler. I should have cut my vinyl about 2 inches longer than what I needed, so this way when it went on the tumbler, even though it went on at an angle, I still would have had my exact 5 inches of vinyl. But as you'll see here, it's a quick and easy fix to this situation, so don't stress out if you have tapered cups and the vinyl doesn't go on perfectly straight. I will show you here exactly how I fix it. I go in with my measuring tape and just measure from where that vinyl, from the highest part of that vinyl sits, and it's at 4 inches. So I only lost about 1 inch of my vinyl. So I go around the cup measuring the 4 inches, and then I just go in with my 1-inch painter's tape and I mask off on that line, and then I cut off all of the excess of that vinyl that does not match up on the ends. And voila, just like that, we fixed it. Now we have that even vinyl going all the way around the tumbler. So we'll just make some minor adjustments to the striping. Instead of them being 1 inches, they were just a little over 1 inches. And it worked out perfectly fine. Like I said, it wasn't a big deal. I just had to kind of revamp my measurements and continue moving on. So I go back in with my measuring tape and remeasure. As you can see, I'm not much off from 3 inches. So I just go in and I remeasure, and I literally marked them at, I believe it was like an inch and a quarter. So I went ahead and made those markings along 2 or 3 sides of my tumbler, and then go in with my masking tape and tape off my glitter sections. We are going to go ahead and use Mod Podge to apply our glitter. We are going in with Marigold, Pumpkin Spice, and Tiger Lily from New England Glitter. And we're just going to go ahead and alternate those 3 colors on our bottom half of our tumbler. Once I applied my second layers of glitter, I went ahead and let this dry for 30 minutes before I sealed it 3 times with Rust-Oleum 2 times clear gloss spray. Went ahead and mixed 20 milliliters of my Speedy Petey Fast Set epoxy. You all know how much I love this epoxy. Went ahead and I applied that, let it spin for about 10 minutes before I went in with my heat torch, popping any bubbles I may or may not see. Let that cure for 30 minutes. Then I went ahead and I applied my second coat of Speedy Petey Fast Set epoxy. Let that cure overnight before moving on to the next steps. Once my tumbler was completely dried, I went in with my razor blade and I went ahead and I removed any and all of the epoxy around my rim and inside my cup. Went in with my sanding block and sanded my rim down on my tumbler and the very top outside rim, exposing that stainless steel. Went ahead, gave this cup a quick good sanding around the rim and the bottom rim, removing any of those pokey bits that might be popping through. You want to make sure that you are always applying vinyl work or decals to the smoothest possible surface. If you find that you are really sanding, you might as well just go in with a third layer of epoxy. Once you are done sanding, I went in with my alcohol and just cleaned up my tumbler, removing any of that sanding debris. So this way, when we apply our vinyl and our epoxy, we don't have any imperfections or issues with the epoxy. I went ahead and cut out vinyl strips on my Cricut. These black strips are actually 0.15 by 11.5 inches. Then I went ahead and I cut some gold textured vinyl at 0.07 inches by 11.5 inches. Once I was done applying my vinyl stripes, I went ahead and I sealed this with a polyacrylic just so my vinyl didn't lift. Let that dry for about 30 minutes before going in with my final layers of epoxy. I mixed 20 milliliters of Speedy Petey Fast Set epoxy. I let that spin for about 10 minutes before I went in with my blowtorch, popping any bubbles I may or may not see. Once I was done popping my bubbles, I let that cure for 3 hours and it was done. I absolutely love making these tumblers. They're super easy but still fun to make. They're great for ready to ship tumblers or even for getting ready for craft fairs. I hope you guys like this tutorial and I hope it inspires you to create something beautiful. As always, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you again soon.